I never imagined I would see her there. She was sitting quietly in a corner of a hospital hallway wearing a faded patient gown surrounded by tired faces and empty eyes. Looking like the whole world had forgotten her the moment I saw her, something inside me cracked. Her name, Sia, my ex-wife. My name is Kabir. I'm 34 and I work a regular office job. We were married for 5 years. From the outside, our marriage looked stable. Sia was calm and kind. She wasn't flashy or dramatic, but coming home to her felt peaceful. Like most couples, we had dreams, buying a house, starting a family, building a life together. But after 3 years of marriage, everything changed. Sia went through 2 miscarriages and slowly the house grew quieter. She stopped talking as much. Her eyes always seemed distant. I won't pretend it was only her struggle. I started coming home late, avoiding conversations, hiding behind work. Small arguments grew bigger. Neither of us wanted to hurt the other, but the distance between us kept growing. One day in April, after yet another exhausting argument, I quietly said, maybe we should get a divorce. She looked at me for a long time and asked, you've made up your mind, haven't you? I nodded. She didn't cry, she didn't fight, she just packed her things. At night, the divorce papers were signed quickly, almost as if we had both prepared for it. Long before the actual moment after the divorce, I moved into a small apartment in New Delhi and tried to live a simple life, work, occasional drinks, movies, alone. No one waiting at home, no familiar footsteps asking if I had eaten. I told myself, had made the right decision. 2 months past, I was basically just going through the motions. One day, I went to AIIMS to visit my best friend Aditya after his surgery. While walking through the internal medicine department, I suddenly felt something familiar and turned my head, and I saw her. Sia was sitting there in a light blue hospital gown. Her hair was cut short in a way that felt wrong because she had always loved her long hair. Her face looked pale and thin. There was an IV drip attached to her arm. I froze. 100 questions rushed through my head. What happened to her? Why didn't anyone tell me? Why was she alone? I walked toward her, shaking, and softly said, Sia. She looked up for a second. She seemed unsure. It was really me. Then she smiled, faintly, the same smile that once felt like home. Kabir, what are you doing here? She asked. I could barely speak. What happened? Why are you here? She avoided my eyes and said, just some health issues. The doctors wanted to run a few tests. I knew she wasn't telling me the truth. After 5 years together, I knew every fake smile she wore. Just then, a nurse walked over and looked at me. Are you a relative? She asked while checking the file. Her chemotherapy starts today. The doctor will be here soon. My ears started ringing. Chemotherapy, I repeated. The nurse looked confused. You didn't know she has blood cancer? She's been undergoing treatment for some time. I felt the ground disappear beneath me. I turned to Sia. She stayed quiet. Why didn't you tell me? I asked, my voice shaking. After a long pause, she said softly, I found out before the divorce. Something inside me shattered. Then why didn't you say anything? She gave a small smile, but it was full of pain because you were already exhausted. Kabir, the miscarriages, my breakdown, the atmosphere at home. I didn't want to become another burden for you. My eyes filled with tears. She continued. The doctors said treatment would be long and expensive. There was no guarantee I'd recover. I didn't want you to spend your life in hospital rooms. I held my head in my hands. So that's why you agreed to the divorce. She nodded. At least you would be free. You could be happy again. In that moment, I realized how blind I had been. I was so lost in my own stress that I never saw the quiet battle she was fighting. I knelt in front of her and said, Sia, I made a huge mistake. She looked uncomfortable. Kabir, please, don't do this. It's okay. I held her hand. It felt cold. No, nothing about this is okay. You went through all of this alone. And I walked away. Tears filled her eyes. We sat there quietly while the hospital noise continued around us. But for us, the world stood still. Finally, I said, I want to come back. She looked shocked. Kabir, don't say that. I'm not joking. Whatever comes next, treatment, pain, fear, I won't run this time. She started crying. But we're not husband and wife anymore. She whispered. I smiled through my tears. Maybe not on paper, but in my heart you still are. She squeezed my hand for the first time that day, and in that cold hospital corridor. 2 months after our divorce, our story quietly began again.